Tottenham Hotspur 4, Copenhagen 0. The Champions League story continues. We remain unbeaten. What an effort. What an upturn. What a night. But what a goal. What a goal by Micky van der Ven. Micky van der Wow. Micky van der Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable talent, acceleration. He's like a horse, like a racehorse, being able to keep the ball under close control. You love to see it. You love to see the upturn. You love to see the atmosphere at the stadium. For those that were there, back on the side, everything was just superb. There's nothing critical tonight. There's no one really that I want to criticize at all. Obviously, there's always things to improve, things to discuss, but just a brilliant night. And you know what? I've never seen Tottenham Hotspur play better with 10 men than they did with 11. I've never seen a red card in a Champions League game be the catalyst for the offending team to up their level to a point where the opposition not only couldn't benefit, but couldn't stand, couldn't handle, couldn't take that additional value that was being presented. Absolutely phenomenal. The Copenhagen fans also very, very good tonight. Very impressive, celebrating and supporting their team from the get-go all the way to the end. You know, maybe there's a lesson to be learned there, but that's for another day. Let's talk about it, guys. Smash the like button for me and smash the subscribe if you haven't already. I'm so pumped having seen that game. I wasn't expecting a good one. I wasn't expecting a fantastic performance. I wasn't expecting anything like what I saw. It was brilliant. And you know what? We went to a 4-2-3-1 tonight again. And I was hoping that Kolo Muani and Xavi Simons were going to take the opportunity against a lesser opposition. Yes, it's a lesser opposition, but it's still, you know, it's still the Champions League. Still super important. We get the 3 points. And still super important that we take some momentum into the big couple of games that are coming up against Manchester United on the weekend, an early Saturday kickoff, I think it is. And then obviously again after, I think it's before or after the international break. It'd be after the international break, Arsenal. So, you know, some big games coming up, and we had to get a great performance in tonight, and we've done that. So let's have a little look-see at, well, first and foremost, in fact, let's start with the table, shall we? Let's have a look at the table. Tottenham Hotspur currently sit 7th as it stands right now on 8 points. We're in the top 8. Other games still to be played tomorrow night, so we could end up probably back in about maybe 11th or 12th, depending what happens there. But doing as good as we can. We remain undefeated. One of only, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 teams in the Champions League that are undefeated at the moment, something like that. And yeah, look, Tottenham looking pretty. 2 wins, 2 draws. We've got the big one, PSG, coming up next. This is an opportunity. If we can, I'm not even sure if we need to get something out of the PSG game, but if we can win in our final 3 games after PSG, then we should be able to maybe even consider an outside chance of a top 8 finish. But let's get into the specifics of the game, guys. And it was a cracking game to watch. Let's have a look at the statistics, shall we? 3.31 expected goals for Tottenham Hotspur, 0.33 for Copenhagen, 61% to 39%. Basically all Tottenham. Let's have a look at the momentumometer. All Tottenham for the first sort of 35 minutes. A couple of little brief spells for Copenhagen, but really Vicario was never challenged, never tasked with too much tonight. What was interesting and what was great to see from him is that in an otherwise kind of eventful evening for him, he had a couple of pot shots from distance that he had to take care of, but there really wasn't too much to ask. But he did come and he did clean up from the corner kicks, which is a bit of a rarity, something I've been looking for improvements from with him. And he made he had no trouble with that. His distribution was very good as well. And in the second half, again, we started the second half pretty much in charge. Get the second goal, which I'll talk about that in a second, talk about the goals in a second. But it actually was genuinely, for me, that red card that was the catalyst for Tottenham, you know, to reshape their team. Xavi Simons furious that he got taken off, and rightly so. I thought he was fantastic, absolutely fantastic tonight. Really wanted to grab that opportunity, like I say, against a weaker opposition to really kind of build some confidence. He had an assist. On another night, he could have had 2 or 3 assists, a hat-trick of assists, had it not been for some wayward finishing from Kolo Muani and from others as well. Sensational performance, but because of the softest red card that I think I have ever seen, at least in recent times, absolutely horrendous decision. I mean, I don't know what the letter of the law is. I'm sure someone who's a referee like Chris will say, you know what, it's by the law, that's a red, and maybe so, but sometimes your eye test needs to be just sort of trusted a little bit. There was no malice, there was no menace, and there was no intention to harm. I think his foot bounced off the floor, and you would have thought maybe that would have changed the game, right? Going from 2-0 up, and then you've suddenly got a reshape. Polinia comes on to shore things up, but actually by that point, Copenhagen were tired. In the preview to the game, I did say a couple of things, and I'm not someone that usually likes to do the I told you so's or whatever, but I did say that the statistics sort of demonstrate that Copenhagen are a team that tires in the second half, so there was always going to be a chance that we could catalyse and really go on a march later in the game. And like I say, I was hoping that Kolo Muani and Xavi Simons were both going to get some decent opportunities for goals or assists, whatever, tonight. And certainly Xavi Simons put in his best performance in a shirt. I'll tell you someone else that put in their best performance in a shirt, and that was Wilson Odebear. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. In the WhatsApp group, I was laughing with the guys. I was calling him Mr. Fluorine. I was looking on ChatGPT. What's the chemical compound? What's the element that binds with everything? Is it carbon? Is it oxygen? Is it hydrogen? Apparently it's fluorine. So from now on, I'm calling Odebear Mr. Fluorine, Mr. Chemistry, because this guy, he connects the dots. He's a dot connector, a matchmaker. I think his chemistry and his wavelengths are understated, underrated. He needs to play with Udogie behind him. He doesn't have to do all of the things that a left winger does for him to create value, because he is fantastic at reading the game. His footballing IQ is smart. It's on point, and he lets other people do the work around him, and he's there to fill in the gaps. I'm going to call him Mr. Chemistry. I'm not going to call him, Walter White, like Walter Odebear or Wilson White. Now I'm going to call him Heisenberg. Heisenberg. I think the guy is a player. I absolutely thought he was so good today. And you know who else I thought was absolutely fantastic, guys? Let me bring my stats back up so I can give you something to look at whilst I'm rambling. I absolutely thought that Bentancur was a phenomenal effort tonight from him. He didn't give the ball away. He didn't give the ball away at all. Let's start with him. He got 6.9 according to SofaScore. I mean, they're just shocking with their algorithms, but he was just absolutely phenomenal. He was everywhere. He was the instrumenter in getting the ball from deep. He's the relationship he was creating with Xavi Simons. Absolutely phenomenal. Xavi had all the space in the world to work because he was doing the hard yards behind him. And I thought he and Pape Sarr actually connected really well. Pape Sarr covered the yards. He covered the grass. No one's going to be talking about Pape Sarr tonight or tomorrow or on Thursday or on Friday, because everyone's going to be talking about the goal by Micky van der Ven. They're going to be talking about the unbelievable run late on from Romero to put in Polinia, which we'll come to in a second. They might be talking about, I don't know, Kolo Muani missing a couple of chances, but you know what? The positions he got in, unbelievable. He's a baller. His touch, his technique, his ability to hold up the play. He's going to excel at Tottenham. Give him more time, give him more patience. He needs that goal, just like Xavi Simons. They both need a goal. They both need just to get that kind of the monkey off their back and the momentum that can come from that relief of scoring. And Kolo had probably a hat-trick of opportunities tonight. He did. He missed a great header. He missed the sort of the near post sort of flick or shot that he could have taken the first time, that started again with Wilson Odebear and Xavi Simons doing that chemistry and Pape Sarr being involved in it. He needs it, but he didn't get it. But there were so many opportunities tonight. But those are the conversations that are going to be had, and rightly so. I'm not telling you what to prioritize in your analysis, but Pape Sarr is probably going to get understated in terms of the kind of the double pivot, because Bentancur was phenomenal, and he was. But Pape Sarr's movement, his ability to cover blades of grass is second to none. In a game like this, where you have a team against you that they're not of the standard, they're going to struggle in the Champions League. But it's one of those nights where, given what happened against Chelsea, remember Chelsea fans were furious at their club, their players, their manager, after the Sunderland defeat. They go to Tottenham, all is forgiven. Well, they win at Tottenham, all is forgiven. After Chelsea, everyone's up in the air. Everyone's angry. Everyone's saying it's unacceptable. Or most people are saying it's unacceptable. Not everybody, most people. And then after a night like tonight, the players needed to do something to manifest some top-level performance that got the fans back on side, that showed some belief in themselves, and that allowed us to see a version of Frank Ball that can play football and do it well. And they've done that in the perfect environment at the perfect time, that we can now take that momentum, that in 4 days time on Saturday, we can come back to the same arena and the fans are going to be behind it. And hopefully we can take this and use that as that catalyst for a great result. Let me go through some of the more performances. Pedro Porro, right, he's back. I don't know where he's been. I don't know where he's been the last few weeks. Pedro Porro's passing, his crossing tonight, unbelievable, exceptional. The things we've come to expect from him, but they've been absent. They've been AWOL the last few games when we played badly. And when we play badly, he usually plays badly. He's not known for his defensive work. He's not known for unbelievable positional sense at the back post, all those things. But what we can rely on him, and what the stats always show, is he's number one at everything in terms of passing and creative related assets or discussion points for a right back across Europe. And today he was right back at it, whipping that ball in for Kolo Muani. Should have put it in, whipping the ball in for Richalison in the late second half, and he rattled the crossbar. Unbelievable from Pedro Porro. Just back to his best. I don't know where he's been, just tired or whatever, but a little bit more space, a little bit more momentum and energy in the positive on the front foot, and he was right back at it. Romero and Van der Ven, listen, I could sit here and talk about every part of their game, but there really isn't too much to talk about in the defensive elements today, but what they had to do, they did very, very well. Absolutely brilliant. In terms of Romero, he wasn't going to stand there and let his sidekick, his partner in crime, Batman to his Robin or vice versa, take all the plaudits for a mazy run up to the top end of the pitch when we're down to 10 men. No, sir. He wanted his slice of the pie as well. Lovely threaded ball. I think it was from Pape Sarr that puts him in. And rather than him taking it on himself, he looked up and put in a delicious cross across to Polinia, who once again gets on the score sheet. Another player that scored multiple goals for us this season, just like Micky van der Ven. I think Micky's on 6 goals in all comps. I think Polinia's on 4. Unbelievable. Destiny Udogie back in the team, starting today. Once again, him and Wilson Odobert, like I say, chemistry, wavelength, relationships, letting people do what they do best. And I'm so pleased with that performance from him. He was brilliant getting forward, whipping the ball in with his left foot, sometimes with his right foot as well, getting it into dangerous areas. And I think he might have been the person that was responsible for the Kolo Muani chance early doors that was put to the side of the post. I can't remember. There's so many chances to talk about. It's difficult to put them all into order. As I say, I've spoken about Odobert, got his goal. Fantastic for him. His performance didn't need a goal, but he got the goal anyway. Absolutely sensational from Wilson Odobert, driving at players, taking them on, doing the connections, doing the link up. As I say, I'm going to call him Heisenberg from now on, because he is the guy that is the chemical compound that everything sticks to. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Xabi Simons, I'm devastated that he had to come off because of this situation. He looked furious. He looked so sad and upset on an otherwise good night. But you do have to prioritize the needs of the team over the needs of the individual. And look, at that time, 2-0 up, it's important to get those points in the Champions League. Thomas Frank, right to make the decision. He is the creative flair player. When you go down to 10 men, he's the obvious candidate to come off. Look, he was upset. Obviously, I understand that. But Polinia came on. And then Tottenham went up a gear. Believe it or not. Absolute madness. Absolute madness. Kolo Muani, as I say, look, for me, yes, he missed a hat-trick of chances. Yes, he should have put the 2 of them away, 100%. Those of you that are going to go down the path of he's not a good finisher, he's no better than what we have, or he's just whatever, that he's not the solution, bear with him, because what you should have also seen is his ability to hold the ball up, his clever footwork, his pace, his work rate, his ability to sort of drive down the ball, to press from the front. He's got everything that Richarlison does have and the things he doesn't. Yes, he missed a couple of chances, but I think that's just the pressure and the need to get that, that kind of first goal. But I think you're going to see more and more and more from him. And listen, that goal that fell to Odobert, I don't know what Katarski was doing, the goalkeeper. He had an absolute mare, didn't he? For the first goal, he was in no man's land. and for the second goal as well. But his press was absolutely fantastic. Brennan Johnson does what Brennan Johnson does. So I'm not going to talk too much about the red card because I just think it was unfortunate. I don't know what the letter of the law says on the rules, guys, but for me, I thought it was the softest of red cards that I've seen. But the goal that he scored, absolutely phenomenal, right? Lovely turn, lovely. He saw that the transition was happening, turned and moved immediately. I think it was Romero who won the ball back, passed it to Xavi, who looks up and sees Brennan Johnson running against a slower, I think it was Lopez or Hatzidiakos, I think his name was, the centre-back. And it just had all the time in the world. The goalkeeper's coming out of nowhere, takes it round. Very acute angle, though, to be entirely honest. Very acute angle, still running at pace. I was very impressed with that finish, and fair play to him. I also want to give him a little bit of credit because most people will probably say he didn't do anything apart from that. He did take a couple of players on. I think Lopez, again, the left-back, no pace in him at all. But Johnson took a man on and beat his man. So love to see some more of it. I hope that was good for his confidence. But obviously, his night's probably soured a little bit by that red card. In terms of the subs that came on, guys, we have Kevin Danso in the 73rd, Jed Spence in the 73rd, and Richalison, who came on in the 72nd. Look, Richalison, I mean, there's a couple of times he came deep and doesn't really do much with the ball. We know what to expect from him in terms of holding the ball up and his footwork, but he did have 2 or 3 chances to put the ball away. I think he had the header that hit the bar. He had a penalty that was won by Dane Scarlett. Really nice by Dane Scarlett, who came on in the 80th minute. Delighted with his performance. I think he was a little bit cheeky, expecting to have that penalty kick for himself. You've got to learn your place in the pecking order there, Dano. But well won. And look, obviously, you know, Richarlison smashes it into the crossbar. I think Richarlison had a third opportunity as well, which I can't remember what it was from the top of my head. I don't know why, but I'd say that, you know, Richarlison had 2 or 3 opportunities, at least 2, if not 3, gilt-edged chances, and didn't quite convert them either. He looks a very frustrated guy, but getting in the right positions, and when you've got players that have got the space, that have got the ability, that was on display tonight, as I say, Pedro Porro with his whips and his crosses. Just a brilliant, brilliant night. Really glad that Dane Scarlett got on the pitch as well. I hope we got away without any injuries. And the last one to talk about is João Palhinha, who came on in the 61st minute after the sending off. And he gets his goal, right? Once again, I think it's his 4th or 5th goal of the season. Fantastic for him. What a night, guys. I'm just looking at the replay once again. Micky van der Ven's goal. Just unbelievable. Sort of touches of that kind of the sunny Puskas winner from a couple of years ago against Burnley. He picks the ball up literally on the edge of his own box, gets into 3rd gear, gets into 4th gear. Nice couple of turns past 4 or 5 players who just can't keep up with him. But it's one thing to sprint, it's another thing to control the ball. It's the third thing to have the composure on the edge of the Copenhagen area. He's still 16 yards out to open his body and to send it home as aggressively as he did. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, guys. I couldn't be more pleased. Well done, the boys. 4-0. As I say, we're in 7th at the moment in the league phase. 1.8 million in the bank. Make sure we go and spend that on some decent players. I know it's against Copenhagen. I know some of you are going to say, let's calm down. It was terrible opposition. No, you can only beat what's in front of you, and we beat them thoroughly. We beat them absolutely convincingly, and all of the players today, all of them, to a man, did their job, and some of them surprised me wildly to the upside, and I am absolutely delighted. Big up to Thomas Frank. Big up to the boys. Big up to you. Big up to Tottenham Hotspur. Let's go, guys. I'll see you later on. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,